Most people don't struggle with money because they lack intelligence or motivation. They struggle because the first time they were expected to understand money, the stakes were already high. This video looks at how simple, research-based, age-appropriate money lessons can turn finances from something stressful into something manageable long before those high-stakes decisions arrive. Traditional education does many things well. Financial education is rarely one of them. As a result, most children learn about money indirectly, by observing how adults spend, save, worry, or avoid talking about it altogether. Those observations form habits long before formal financial decisions appear. The goal of teaching kids about money is not to rush them into adult responsibilities. It is to make future decisions feel familiar, instead of intimidating. Despite how complex adult finance can seem, nearly all financial behavior rests on 4 ideas: earning, saving, spending, and giving. These ideas apply at every age. What changes over time is not the principle, but the level of responsibility attached to it. In early childhood, roughly ages 3 to 6, the goal is awareness. At this stage, children learn best through repetition and visibility. The objective is not understanding numbers or value. It is recognizing that money exists and is connected to everyday activities. During a grocery trip, for example, a parent might say, "We're buying apples today," which means we're not buying cookies this time. The lesson is not whether the choice feels good or disappointing. It is seeing that choices are connected to limited resources. Even if a family does have the money for both, the situation can still be framed this way to teach the lesson. Paying at a register becomes another teaching moment. When money is handed over or a card is used, a simple explanation is enough. This is how we pay for the food we're taking home. Other daily routines reinforce the same idea. At a gas station, a parent might say, "We pay for gas so the car can drive." At home, they might say, "We pay for electricity so the lights work," or "We pay for water so it comes from the sink." These moments help children understand that money is part of normal life, not something abstract or hidden. Many families also use physical containers to make money visible. One container for saving and one container for spending. When a child places money into each container, they begin to see that money can be used now or kept for later. At this age, the lesson is not arithmetic. It is awareness. Money exists. It is used regularly, and it connects actions to outcomes. As children grow into the elementary years, roughly ages 7 to 10, awareness turns into expectation. They begin to notice that money shows up regularly, that spending follows rules, and that sometimes waiting is required. This is often when families introduce allowance, not as a reward, but as a way to give money a predictable rhythm. As financial educator Dave Ramsey often emphasizes, children do not learn money from lectures. They learn it from repetition and responsibility. Allowance, when used intentionally, gives kids a safe environment to practice managing money before the stakes are high. A parent might explain, "Each week, you get a set amount of money. That money is yours to manage until the next week. If the money is spent quickly, there is no refill midweek. That outcome becomes the lesson." Some families use a fixed allowance, meaning a consistent amount given weekly or monthly. This helps children practice planning with money, such as choosing between buying a small item now or saving for something larger later. Some parents add structure by requiring that part of the allowance be saved, or by limiting how much can be spent on certain things like video games. Other families use an earned allowance, where money is tied to optional tasks beyond basic responsibilities. This might include extra yard work, organizing a space, or helping with a one-time project. Parents often explain, "Some things are part of being in a family and contributing, as we all do. Extra work is how money is earned." Some families use a hybrid system, combining a small base allowance with optional earning opportunities. This introduces both stability and initiative. If the base allowance is high enough, a child may never feel the need to earn more. This depends on the child. Across all systems, the core lesson remains the same. Money is limited, and choices have consequences. As children move into the pre-teen years, roughly ages 11 to 14, their thinking changes. They begin looking ahead, rather than reacting in the moment. They compare options. They anticipate outcomes. At this stage, children can manage categories rather than just single transactions. Instead of focusing on each purchase, parents might say, "This money is for the month. Some is for spending now, and some is for saving for something bigger." In practice, this might look like setting aside money for a big-ticket item they want, or planning weekly spending instead of using everything at once. Mistakes here are especially valuable. Spending everything early in the month creates a natural consequence: waiting. That experience teaches restraint more effectively than warnings. As the saying often attributed to Benjamin Franklin puts it, "Tell me and I forget. Teach me, and I may remember. Involve me and I learn." Preteens can also begin noticing costs beyond their own spending. Parents might point out, "This phone plan costs this much every month," or "Groceries cost more when we add extra items," or "Subscriptions are something we pay for regularly." These conversations are not about burdening children. They are about helping them see systems they are likely not aware of and often take for granted unless taught. By the teen years, roughly ages 15 to 18, financial education can move beyond theory and into practice, including long-term investing. Many educators recommend that parents help teens begin investing early, not to chase returns, but to take advantage of time. At this stage, the most important lesson is not how to pick investments. It is how compound interest works over long periods and how it can set you up for wealth. Compound interest means that money does not just grow on what you put in, but also on the growth it has already earned. Over time, this creates a snowball effect, where early contributions have far more time to grow than larger amounts added later. For example, if a teen invests just $100 at age 15 and leaves it invested long-term, that money has decades to grow. At a modest long-term average return, that same $100 could grow to millions of dollars by age 65. If that identical $100 is invested at age 30 instead, it still grows, but with far fewer years to compound. It may only reach a fraction of that amount by age 65. The difference is not the dollar amount invested. It is time. Parents might explain, money invested early often grows more because of time than because of how much is invested. Early investing should happen through adult-supervised, long-term accounts such as custodial investment accounts. These typically involve small, regular contributions, sometimes from birthday presents, broad diversification, a long-term focus, and minimal activity. Parents may explain, "This account isn't for quick gains. It's for learning how time and consistency work together." Some families introduce investing gradually. Early teens learn what investing is and why people do it. Mid-teens observe how long-term investments change over time. Later teens participate in decisions with guidance. Even small amounts make the lesson tangible. Account types, tax rules, and legal requirements vary by country and region. Adult supervision is essential, and families should use structures appropriate to their local regulations. Across households, effective money systems share common traits. Money is discussed openly. Expectations are explained in advance. Rules are predictable. Some families match savings contributions, review spending periodically, or involve teens in simple household budgeting discussions. The structure matters less than the habit of conversation about finances. Common challenges include avoiding money conversations entirely, using money only as reward or punishment, introducing complexity too early, and waiting for the right time that never arrives. These patterns are common, and they are correctable. Children who learn about money early tend to ask better questions, feel less anxiety around finances, recover more quickly from mistakes, and make more responsible financial choices. Starting early does not guarantee wealth. It reduces confusion, and confusion is often what leads to poor decisions. A few core principles matter most. Start earlier than feels necessary. Keep systems simple and visible. Allow small, safe mistakes. Increase responsibility gradually. And model calm, intentional behavior. Teaching kids about money is not about control or perfection. It is about preparation, giving them familiarity and practice before they are forced to make high-stakes decisions. When financial systems are introduced early and explained calmly, money stops being a source of fear or mystery and starts becoming something children understand how to navigate with confidence. For a free downloadable resource, the Financial Literacy Roadmap for Kids, check the description of this video.